Welcome to my show. I'm going to be showing you a map with some ley lines and some points of interest on it. This is Ascension. This is Mother Earth, Turtle Island, Rainbow Prophecy. The completion of the Rainbow Prophecy. All timelines coming together. All past timelines being purged of darkness. Everything evolves around America, American, Turtle Island, Amaru, Mu. So we're going to step into a map. People are confused. They don't know what dimension they're in. They don't know what timeline. Because they were born into this reality with no spiritual wisdom, no knowledge of Turtle Island, no knowledge, no connection to Mother Earth and Father Sky. The frequencies, the fall, the being pulled back into past timelines through dark energy connections of invasions of past lives and into the water of creation. A lot of people talking on Atlantis, Lemuria, Etruria, higher realms, going galactic. There's things on Turtle Island that people can't see spiritually because the things were corrupted, were manipulated. A lot of the stuff that is kind of like thought of as across the pond when it comes to mystical stuff, spiritual stuff, and so you have a lot of the stuff is in, if you think of past lives, past timelines, and Jesus and Mary and everything that came out of the medieval times, the mystical times. A lot of people can't reflect on this stuff and connect it to today's timeline due to the elders being killed and no spiritual wisdom, no inner direction of what everything means, as in the Hermetic teachings, the symbols and numerology and alchemy and so forth. So we're just going to do a little jumping around, try to explain this map a little bit. There's a lot of things, take it back to the beginning of time because, people wanting to ascend but don't know where they are today. They're not in the awakened mind of Buddha, not understanding the land under their feet. They see America as just being Native American. But it goes back throughout so many timelines and clans and tribes and so forth. And people talk on certain stuff like the biblical times and people saying that they come from past timelines or they come from other planets, and people want to be something that they're not. But in true reality, if you're talking about Babylon and the biblical times in Egypt, there's a level of frequencies of sacrifice because the Egypt was the first place created out of the tree, out of the fall. So it's kind of like the Big Bang. So it's, we've gone back into time, cleaned up all these past timelines. But a lot of the timelines are all connected to Turtle Island. And that's what people can't see because everything is outside of them. So when you're talking about the prophecies, You know, it's not in religion. It's not in the Catholic Church. It's not in what you think. So it's returning back to Mother Earth and Father Sky and Great Spirit through whatever tribe and clan you come from. But that's where the manipulation comes into play of who one is, because everyone's trying to learn spirituality, trying to gain something that was lost, but have no wisdom of where to go because every direction was hijacked. All of the information that the Native Americans had, all of Africa, Nordic, Maya, New Zealand, you know, there's you get into what is left of the people today, and the people can't comprehend what elders are saying, because the people today have been manipulated by the beast, and the spiritual darkness that came into the water. You know, the sacred water went away, the iron shield, and they came into the Nordic times and sacrificed all the feminine. But so we'll break down, you know, all of these past timelines, you know, and how they evolved and how they have come back into today's timeline to be purged. And over these past years, since 2012, all these past timelines have been purged because we've been going backwards in time. And people can't comprehend that. You know, people running on lost information. You know, it's the inner coordinates of recreating your DNA and your chakras and the true nature of things, of what Mother Earth is when it comes to what was here before the invasion into all timelines. So, you know, people are looking at Atlantis, they're looking at Lemuria, but they can't see or understand what the East Coast truly is. And you look at the concrete jungles and you look at what all the Masons built over the hundreds of years. It's been a manipulation of a theft of Hermes teachings, because it's a theft of the blueprints to the design of the temples. The fallen ones copying and trying to regurgitate, you know, the truth of the spirit, hijacking the symbols and the zodiac wheels and all the animals, DNA, water, creation. So when people think of Mother Earth and they think of ascension, nobody can ascend before Mother Earth. You know, people can't comprehend that none of the timelines were ever purged of the sacrifice. So we've been running on the same timeline throughout all of these timelines of being reborn, reincarnation, and the fall, and sacrifice, and chaos, and all this stuff. But it comes back to America, truly, of where it's the prophecy. It's Turtle Island, one piece of land. But see, there were lands created out of the fall, that rose up out of the fall, and things were created. You know, there's the Ouroboros, and so when you think of the Ouroboros, it's kind of like, you know, because they say the lion bites his own tail, the dragon bites his own tail. So if the dragon opened his mouth, and, you know, because that's where the gate is, that's where the entrance into Mother Earth is. But it's like the same thing with the Hyperborealis. It's where's the entrance point? Where is it that on the land? That's what people can't comprehend, because they can't see spiritually, and Mother Earth hasn't opened herself up to the lower realms. She's cut herself off and cleaned herself up, cleaned up the universe, cleaned up all the planets, chakras, and so forth. But it comes down to understanding the land and what they have been doing on the land. People know the. So we'll get into the map. So we'll get into the map a little bit. People talking on Atlantis and Lemuria and what was once here beforehand. But this is the part where two lands collided, and things, the chaos, the Big Bang, because it's a timeline that people can't comprehend. Just like any of these ancient timelines, because you can't say you come from the biblical times, or Egypt, unless you understand the darkness that came out of it, or the Nordic times. But this is the part where people, especially mainly the feminine, where they feel a lot of pain, a lot of suffering, a lot of trauma that has rolled over from past timelines into today's timeline of, they either continue to be sacrificed or traumatized as a child, or it's that continuation over different timelines of being chased by the beast or the material, the spirit, the demonic spirit. So this is the point of the circle, the protection, the blueprints to creation of within and without, as above, so below. So there's a map. I've done other videos on this, but getting into the point of where we are and what it is, with the frequencies returning and what I see spiritually, because of the work that I've done. So we get into the Northeast, and you look at New York, Philly, DC, and everything. It is what it is, but it's what was here beforehand. And being outside of Philadelphia and understanding what is here spiritually, the locations of, I stand on the location of between two realms of Atlantis and Lemuria, and that's the part where people think that over there, Atoria, somewhere outside of themselves, is the location for Lemuria. It goes the same thing for Jesus and religion. They look across the pond into Israel. But when you bring everything back to Turtle Island and understand that there is a tree, a mountain, a temple, rainbows, unicorns, dragons, and all this stuff on Turtle Island, because Turtle Island is the birthing place of creation. It's where the Big Bang happened. It's where chaos and came through into heaven, or you put it into the fall. It's difficult to comprehend when you don't know and you can't see the portholes. A lot of people still look, they don't really talk about the Bermuda Triangle. The Bermuda Triangle is connected to Atoria. And that's what has taken place over last year, of reconnecting, reconnecting timelines and reconnecting tribes, because you see here the magnetic, the Acadian line. You see how the Acadian line runs down into Mexico, into Atlanta, up the coast. It goes over to Stonehenge and Troy and so forth. But this line here is the Acadian line. It's a line of the Iron Shield. It's a line of Mercury. There were temples here that Mercury used to come up and out of. So there's a separation between lower realms, higher realms. East and west. This is all within the medicine wheel, in the inner coordinates within your belly and your chakras and the kundalinis. The Mississippi, the crystal pyramids and the waters. These have been activated already, but one's not able to see the rainbow over the Mississippi and the activated crystal pyramids because their mind is not conscious. The vibration is not high enough of being able to see this, because there's a door into heaven, and it's on the land. So the coming out of past timelines is the coming through Philadelphia, coming through Delphi. And I think John Levi just did a video on Fairmount Park, and the art museum is in the shape of the Kabbalah, and everything going back to World Fair and the reset, and everything looks like Greece, and you have Delphi, Philadelphia being in the shape of a pyramid, invisible pyramid, and it's like them coming up and out of the underworld, through the pyramid, through the Atlantic Ocean, so forth. And so it's a timeline thing, so it's like attempting to puncture the veil into heaven, because Turtle Island, the as above so below, with the Pleiadians and Orion are reflected onto Turtle Island also. And the symbolism of the temple, as you would think outside of, in Egypt, as they would put it, but everything was here on Turtle Island first. So when they invaded Turtle Island, they were able to see, and they understood, what was here. We all understood what was here many moons ago. But, it is the stepping out of heaven where you lose your memory and you're not sure where you come from. It's a soul travel. It's an internal understanding of lifting oneself up to come back into the rainbow prophecy. There's a lot of chaos out there. There's a lot of manipulation, spiritual manipulation. But Mother Earth has gone home. Divine Mother has gone home. And you have to realign the spiritual and the material within the sacred waters of the waters that were separated, the higher waters and the lower waters, because it's an alchemical creation of mixing warm water with cold water. And that's what this ice was that came and froze the underworld, froze the roots of the East Coast and the 13 colonies of the magnetic Mercury under the temples of the Acadian line. on the east coast of America. Because everything Florida and everything to the east, southeast is, you think of Atlantis and so forth. But you get up into Maine, and, people know the Serpent Mound and all the mounds and the Hopewell, and people don't know, because it's the top of the world. We're in the top. We're in the magnetic North Pole in the East Coast, in the northeast, with the dragon, with the Finger Lakes and the Dragon's Claw, Maine, going out to Acadia National Park, highest peak on the East Coast, the last piece of Atlantis, going out into the Atlantis timeline. Because when you go out into the Atlantis timeline, there's water that collects. That used to go into Mother Earth. That's the old way. That was the manipulation, the water going into Mother Earth. But the water has been reversed, and the magnetic pole that was offline has been realigned. Through flipping the poles and allowing the water to flow outwards from within, just like through your crown chakra, lifting up your water through your belly with the inner sun of Mother Earth, creating the Ouroboros and the rainbow prophecy. Because the ancestors have been freed. Did you hear what I said? So the traveling from Atlantis to Lemuria, being from east to west. So there is, I gotta touch base on the West Coast because there's a lot, first, you have the Rosicrucian Church outside of Philly. You have the, the Pink Ray, the Rose Crux, because the Rose Crux is here. It's not over there, it's here. So we travel west. But are we really traveling west, or are we really traveling up? That's the question. Because we are leaving Babylon, east to west. But we must see there's symbolism. So much symbolism on the East Coast, Northeast, because there's a temple. There once was a temple. Hindustan, the three Indies. And there was a temple in Lancaster. There should be a Sphinx in Lancaster, because it's the head. It's Judah. It's the lion that bites his own tail. It's complicated, but there's a lot of information here just by looking at this map. Because if you look at the Blue Kachina line, came over because they were coming. They came through Philly and they came through the Mississippi, because these were the 2 points of interest of getting up into Ohio, as above so below. But you got to come up and onto the land, out of Philly, come out of the temple, go through the mouth of the Sphinx, in a sense, to get into Mu. because where you see there are no temples is where the entrance point is. Americans looking at the South, looking at South America, looking at Etoria, looking at New Zealand, and whatever. Americans, New Age, spiritual people looking to go galactic. But they have no idea what is sniffing up their ass. They have no idea of the frequencies of what has come out of ancient history that reside here today, that has been pushed into the AI, pushed to the surface for all to see. Because these are the words of the English language. Babylon, sacrifice, coming out of Egypt. You have all these Christians and Jewish people in America who some way somehow think that they're not connected to what is taking place across the pond. This is the end. This is the battle between heaven and hell. But they've already lost. But everybody must see what's been hiding behind the curtain. So we travel west through the rainbow. We go under the rainbow. We go through the water, through the porthole, into the dragon realms, to Naga country. Flying serpents, unicorns. So you get out to Utah, you get over the mountain, you get out into Utah, and you get all this stuff, and, blah, blah, blah. People, Utah and the tree, because they cut down the trees, the Grand Teton. But let's go out into Lake Tahoe for a little bit, okay? We're going to go out to Lake Tahoe, because, it's all about getting into the temple, See, they had to study the blueprints. They had to study magic. They had to study alchemy. They had to study and manipulate the Hermetic teachings, or the inner workings of the Mayan calendar, the clock, the planets, the Pleiadians, the universe. Corrupt the mind of the universe. Turn everything upside down. Drain Pistis Sophia through the moon. So we're out in California. It's a cool place. It's where they first found gold, right? The El Dorado, Lake Tahoe, Emerald Bay. See, there's so much symbolism that people can't tap into, because it's your chakras are aligned with the rising sun and the setting sun. But people can only access certain colors, because when the sun rises, it's red. That's your lower chakra. It turns orange. And it's orange and gold. And it's gold and blue throughout the sky, kind of like in the water. The water in your belly with the sun. So as above, so below. So when the sun gets to the west coast, it starts setting back into the water, which is gold and blue. And it is green. Shoots out a green ray. So if you're looking at Lake Tahoe, which is emerald, and it is connected to the Druidic Scottish right, Ireland, and so forth. It's a porthole. Because underneath the emerald ray is the gold. It's the entrance into the Emerald City, the Golden City. It's the heart chakra. See? It's the heart chakra. It's the entrance point. The Emerald Triangle. The whole thing. Odin hung himself on the Grand Teton. People can't see that north of America is the entrance point into the Hyperborealis. Everything as above, so below resides on Turtle Island. The ecliptic line, the Pleiadians, Orion's belt. Everything. They have been removed from the spirit of creation, from the water. The frequencies that have come across the border, it's like going back in time, because we've been going back in time to clean up past timelines. So we come into the present moment of today, of confusion, of repeating Babylon, repeating Egypt, repeating the fall, because the fall out of the tree is not light. The fall out of the tree is an abortion. And where did the Big Bang happen? That's the question. Because there was an exit point out of heaven. The exit point out of heaven is the northeast. It's the volcano. It's where chaos broke through. It's where the jealousy and the rage and everything that came out. It wasn't, it is an abortion. Is the frequencies. So we have all of this stuff here, and what it is the Mayan times, and going back into time, it comes down to the invasion and what has come across the border and the frequencies of the invasion. It's the same thing, but everything spiritually has been blocked. The Mayan calendar being fixed, the blueprints to the Mayan calendar being fixed, the alchemy of the rainbow prophecy, because people can't really ascend until they understand the blueprints to creation, the medicine wheel, all the how is a rainbow created. That's really what it comes down to, because it's how is a rainbow created. Because we just had, we're having the rainbow prophecy. The prophecy is done, but see, there's people piggybacking on that, stuff that, they just heard through the material realm of thinking that they're spiritual. It's not everything into today's timeline comes directly from spirit to new earth, new Gaia. And one must be re-alchemized and become an elder, because I don't put myself in a category, but you put it into a Scottish rite, druidic, shamanic, Mason, being the first Mason of New Earth, the only Mason, because I am the temple builder. I'm the one that went into the darkness and took all the symbols back. There is no more fallen Masons. There is no more Illuminati. There are no stolen circles. No more stolen squares and triangles and numbers and letters and of darkness. Because letters and numbers is what you speak. It's what you learn when you're a child. You learn your symbols and your letters and your numbers and your colors, and this is all what needs to be relearned to understand where you come from. It's a retraining, it's a repurposing, it's understanding what needs to take place to rebuild Mother Earth to her glory. And once all this happens, this fall, people fall to their knees because they won't. That's the abortion, the frequencies. You must fall before getting picked back up. But you won't fall into their hands. You'll fall into God's hands, because God is in all dimensions. There is no more underworld. There is no more hell within creation. The only way is up, and it is back into Mother Earth. No more religion, no more manipulation of Jesus, no more manipulation of ancient history. The truth will be told of what has happened. The truth must be told so the people can return back to the land of Mu, Mother Earth, Father Sky, Great Spirit, by reclaiming their power, loving Mother Earth again, because the balance of the masculine and the feminine, the waters have returned. Wahane.